Hey, good morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Hope you're doing well today on this Wednesday afternoon. And today is Weed Team Wednesday. And I was reading a Slack post the other day, and somebody was mentioning how their company got rid of all the Scrum Masters, and then the team has to fend for themselves. How do you prepare for that? What do you do? And it made me think about it. It's always good to think that way as a Scrum Master or an Agile coach or consultant, to be honest with you, or anybody like that, or anybody on a team. What do you prepare for in the future? How do you prepare for departure? As a project manager, I did it all the time, my whole entire career. So it wasn't a big, crazy thought in my head because it's just the way the world of project management operates. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit today, preparing it and give it a challenge that in 2024, if you're a Scrum Master as your coach, what are you doing to prepare your team for your departure? And maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe you got a new job and you got a chance to go someplace different, do something different. Is your team ready for that? Have you done your job to prepare your team for your departure? Because maybe it is on your terms. Maybe it is something that you want to do and go do something different. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And I think I'm going to hit this topic a couple times throughout the month of January and kind of say, are you preparing your team? So it's a 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way. So you can bring value to your customer, not work crazy hours, bring that value to your customer, and have a little fun along the way. And hope at least you teach your teams to have a little fun during the week, and they don't have to be, oh my God, the Scrum Master's gone, so we can't have any more fun. I hope you get away from that a little bit. So let's talk about this. What's the scenario? So the company comes in and decides they don't need Scrum Master, because I hear a lot of talk about that. And now the teams don't have Scrum Masters. Or you're the Scrum Master and you got a good job opportunity at another company or another place, and it looks like a real good job opportunity, and you want to take it, right? Do you not take it because you have not trained your team to operate or work with them to become self-organizing, self-managing to a point? Question for you. So if you haven't, then let's talk about it. Let's get that done in 2024. So if you have a team, and even any team you pick up from day one, it should be that way. Like daily, let's talk about this. Daily scrums, how they do it. Get into a rhythm every day. Get in the same way. Doing it the same cadence, let's say, so that anybody on the team can do it. How do you prep for that, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit in different things, but really look at what you do as a Scrum Master. Look at the things that the team should be do. I'm not saying they're going to teach each other Scrum, because maybe they're not trained in Scrum. Maybe that's, they hire new people, then that's the company's job to make sure everyone's trained in Scrum, or at least set it up where you got a new hire on the team. The team can easily direct the new hire on where the policies are, the team norms, definition done, definition ready, stuff like that, that should be set up in a place that anybody can access and they all know where to go get it. So when they do get a new person to come on board, they don't need the Scrum Master to point the person to the new thing. Other people can do that. Or I give you a better, maybe you develop a buddy system, and buddy applies for girls and guys and everything in between, where they partner up when you got a new hire. How do you do that, right? So these are the kind of things you can lay in place as a Scrum Master, where the Scrum Master is not directing people on what to do. So let's take a couple things. Let's take daily Scrum. How can you do that? Well, pre Big Bang on 2020, I used to just call into meetings because it was all face meetings, and have the people in the room run the meetings, right? And do it. And I would just listen and monitor and tell them I'm just going to hang out. Prep for that. So maybe, and I have to admit, I didn't do such a good job of that last week when I was in the office and I wasn't there, and I was running the daily scrums because the manager, the Scrum Master, however you want to call it, wasn't there. I should have set it up ahead of time, but maybe you do some plants. Maybe you have somebody, can you do me a favor and run daily scrum and get through? So make it an agenda item that everybody on the team runs the daily scrum, and say, look, and you talk to them ahead of time. It's like, hey, I would really like you to run the daily scrum. Um, I'm going to be there, but I'm not going to run it. Can you run it and have everyone on the team do it? Do it at first, run through it so they know what it's like. Maybe 6 months from now, you do it again. Maybe every 6 months, you do a monthly cycle of everyone on the team running the daily scrum. There you go. Now they all know how to do it, what it's like. They can function. They don't need you to do it. At some point, it'd be great. In person, it's a lot easier to do the daily scrum because you're all standing there and you go around the circle. Remotely, it's a little more difficult because sometimes you got to call people's names, or everyone is on the who's there, who's not there, going through the list of everyone's who's available, because the Zoom or the whatever system you're using reorients people in the list on the screen, so they're never ever the same. So knowing who would be next would be very difficult. And what you see on your screen is different from someone else sees on somebody else's screen. So you got to have a rhythm and a particular way of doing it remotely. Um, Events, right? Sprint review, getting the teams to not wait for people to ask them to present something. Got to change your mindset. Don't wait for me to ask you to present or share what we learned for sprint review. You should be offering to the team something that you want to present as sprint review. That takes a lot of effort, right? So, but you need to work on it every sprint, work with everyone in there and start saying, don't wait for the manager to say, show what you did. Offer what you think would be interesting during a sprint to share with what you did to the team, right? So those are the kind of things that they need to share and learn. The retrospective is the retrospective. Maybe have different people plan a retrospective. I mean, if you got 12 months in a year, once a month, somebody else in the team does a retrospective, gets everyone involved, because we have less than 10 people theoretically. I have teams that are some bigger than that, but everyone on the team would be able to do a retrospective or plan something or do it the way they want to try, at least once a month. So they get used to somebody else doing it. So those are your events and stuff like that. Now the question is, how do you get everyone to prepare for stuff? Well, you do things the same way, right? If there's blockers or things and people flag things, you ask about it. How do we do it? Who's taking this? And you use some of the same thought process and everything in there so they can learn it. But methodically over the next, starting now, start planning for your departure. Like, it may be a good thing. Maybe you get a new job and you feel you like, oh, I shouldn't go. But if you put your team together, they should be able to function. Now, one of the things they said, but then why do I need a scrum master? Maybe we'll talk about that in the next episode of the show. But the scrum master's job is more than just doing the events. Those are the basic stuff. Scrum master's job is to identify, to be an outsider, to be a facilitator, to see when things are not running the way they could be running, potentially high performing, and bring in things into the table to bring that to the forefront of the team, because they're so heads down into the code and what they're producing in their product, they don't see it, right? And this is what a scrum master should be doing. Should bring in those things when they don't see it to the light of the table and introduce them as things to be fixed or thought about or discussed or however it would be. But start thinking about the basics. So if some drastic decision does happen, and it does happen, I've been there many times in my career, that they can survive and function at least for a while until they figure out how they want to handle stuff, right? Of course, they may not be as productive because they don't have somebody to find those holes and keep everyone aware of that stuff and keep things flowing, because people now are doing it themselves, but they can function. And that's a decision that we had no control over. We just have control of our own lives. So on this day, on this We Team Wednesday, start thinking about how you can prepare your team to operate on themselves, for themselves, not on themselves. That'd be kind of weird. Because I saw that in that Slack message about what the team should do. And I'm thinking at that time when they asked that question post decision, well, everything should have been put in place way before that position occurred. right? You always train, you always coach your teams, you always scrum master teams for your departure, because maybe you get two teams, maybe you get a promotion, maybe somebody leaves. It should be always thought and foremost in a scrum master's mind, because we do want to make our teams self-organized because they're faster, right? That's the whole idea. But I wanted to share it with you on this We Team Wednesday because I saw that post the other day. I thought it was prudent, and I'm probably going to reply back to the Slack channel on that, what to do. Well, I said you should have done it what I'm telling you all right now, way ahead of that event. So as a Scrum Master, figure out how to work your way out of the group from at least the generic events, ceremonies, process kind of thing. Make sure there's processes in place that anybody new on board can take it on, and they learn this thing. Like I said, the one idea, which I really like, partnering up with new people when they come on board, because there's going to be people on the team who are going to come in and go out, and you should have a process for bringing onboarding new people that anybody can operate. There'll be a manager somewhere there to help with that, but everything should be laid out in place, right? That's the idea, onboarding, right? So have a great day. Sorry if that was a downer on that, but I want to give you a goal and something to look to do in the new year, and prepare your teams in case you get a new promotion. Maybe if you hired me for a coach, I'll help you get a new promotion and elevate your career. There's a plug for my coaching thing. But you got to think about that. And I have so many people, I can't leave my team. Well, you got to leave your team because you need to take care of your career and where you're going to go to. So with that, I want to wish you a great day. Happy scrumming. We will see you tomorrow, and you all take care. Oh, hold on. We got a comment. Rob Jackson. Thanks, Greg. You're welcome. Oh, and we got to get our mastermind going. So that's coming up. So I am starting up the mastermind. I did put a post up there, just so anybody knows. If you're looking to join a mastermind with some agile people, it is out there. I'm going to hit up all my connections about joining the mastermind if they're interested. So take care, everyone. Have a great day. See you, Rob. Bye.